Hello, everyone. My name is Adrienne, and I'm the owner of Math Does Matter, LLC, also known as Diverse Interactive Learning. And today I want to discuss order of operations. Now, every time I turn on social media, I see problems, expressions pop up that people are trying to solve. There's like challenges with order of operations. And majority of the time, a lot of people get the problems wrong because they really don't understand the order of operations. Now they have an understanding, but it goes deeper than the surface level. So today I am going to break it down thoroughly and make it simple as possible so that people can understand and they can help their children and others, with this process of the order of operations. Okay, so I'm going to pull up some notes and questions. Okay, let's take a look. All righty. Like I said again, Diverse Interactive Learning, also Math Does Matter, LLC. My name is Adrienne, and that's the website, just in case you need tutoring services, because I have a multitude of tutors, and they tutor everything for pre-K through college level students in a large variety of subjects. So let's get started. All righty, so the most popular acronym is PEMDAS. Okay, so acronym is when you use a group of letters to represent a group of words for the most part. Now, the mnemonics that goes along with it is like the saying that goes along with this acronym. So the saying majority of the time is, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally." Now, that's what I heard since I was a little girl, and that's what majority of people hear too. Now, there are some acronyms that start with B as in brackets, or G as in group and symbols. So those are also very similar. They just use different letters to probably make more things inclusive. Now, PEMDAS. Now, when we look here at PEMDAS right here, the P stands for parentheses, E stands for exponents, the M stands for multiplication, D division, A addition, and S subtraction. So everyone pretty much understand that concept. P is parentheses, E is exponents, M is multiplication, D is division, A is addition, and S is subtraction. So everyone pretty much gets that, okay? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay, so that's the part that we all have in common. Now, let me break it down and show you where the confusion comes about. Okay, now, let's see right here. Let me move this over right here for you. Now, let's go down some. Now, what this means is, let me go back up, sorry. Okay, so first, P stands for parentheses. I'll put the parenthesis sign there so that you can see it. Okay, so it stands for parentheses, and E stands for exponents. Now, exponents are the little numbers that's a superscript at the top of a big number. Okay, so for instance, the exponent is this 2 right here. The 2 is the exponents, power 2, second power, squared. So the 2 is the exponent in the problem. Yes, okay, so the next thing is, when this is where the confusion comes about. When you do multiplication or division. So when you have PEMDAS, it's multiplication or division. And a lot of people think it's multiplication and then comes division. And that's where the confusion starts. Now, multiplication and division are equals. They're equivalent. They're on the same level. They have the same amount of power. They're in the same grade. They have the same importance. So is multiplication or division And what does it depend on? It depends on whatever one comes first from left to right. So one trick you can do is that just like you read in English, we read from left to right. When we do an order of operation, when you're comparing multiplication and division, you're going to go from the left over to the right. And whatever your little finger touches first, that's the operation that you do. So if you go from left to right as you're reading and you wind up hitting division, so you have to do division first, because remember, they have the same amount of importance, they're equivalent, they're on the same level. So the only way you determine which one comes first is the one that you hit with your little fingertip from left to right. So if you're reading from left to right and you hit division first, you do division first. And then if you come across multiplication, then you do multiplication. But you always do the one that you hit first. So you don't necessarily follow the order of PEMDAS because multiplication and division are on the same level. So you have to figure out which one comes first, and that's the operation that you tackle first. Okay, so for multiplication, you could see a little dot. That's a red dot. That means multiplication. You could see an X. That means times, but in algebra, we don't use X because now X is a variable, it's an unknown. And also you might see a number, like for instance, like a number 2 connected to a parenthesis. This means multiplication, or you might see the parenthesis with the number 2 on the back. That means multiplication. So multiplication can be seen if you have a parenthesis next to a number, an X, unless it's algebra, and a dot called a red dot. Those are 3 forms of multiplication. Now, when it comes to division, let's say, for instance, 6 divided by 3. So 6 divided by 3 can be written as 6 divided by 3. It could be written as 6 divided by 3 with a slash, that's division, or 6 over 3 as a fraction. That's another form of division. And that's another concept some people tend not to understand. All fractions have operation of division, okay? So 6 over 3, 6 divided by 3, so all of these are equal to 2. So this is 3 ways you can see division when you're doing order of operation. Now, of course, there's another way of division, but you normally wouldn't see this. You normally wouldn't see something like, should I do that part? No, I'm not going to do that because I'm not even going to confuse you. Okay, so those are forms of division. Now, when you get to the next step, you have addition or subtraction. Same concept as multiplication or division, but now you're doing addition or subtraction. So whatever one comes first from left to right, that's the one that you do, whatever one comes first. So remember, addition and subtraction are on the same level. They have the same strength. They the same amount of power. They're equivalent. They're equal. They pretty much, you're right. They're pretty much equal, like I say, equivalent to each other. So the only way you determine which one you do first, the same thing. You have to take your little finger and go from left to right, and whatever one you touch first, that's the one you do. So if you touch subtraction first, you do subtraction, and then if you see addition, you do addition. So addition and subtraction are on the same level, but they're under multiplication and division, and multiplication and division is under exponents, and exponents are under parentheses in the order of operation. So like I said, that's the biggest misconception of what goes on in order of operation that people tend to screw up. You know, so I went ahead and created some examples so we can have fun doing some math problems, my favorite thing to do. So let me do this. Okay, so my first example is number 1, 8 divided by 2 times the quantity of 2 plus 2. Okay, that's the way you read it correctly if you want to read it. But some people might say 8 divided by 2, open parentheses, 2 plus 2, close parentheses. That's another way. But anytime something is in parentheses, you can say quantity of, that's a quicker way of saying it. Now, when we look at this problem, let's see. What should we do? We have parentheses, exponents, multiplication or division, addition or subtraction, whatever one comes first from left to right. So this right here will be a good setup to remember. There's a P, a E, a MD, or a AS, okay? All right, now, so when we look through this problem, I do not see any I do see parentheses. Woohoo! My parentheses are right here. So I'm going to work inside of the parentheses. So 2 plus 2 is, right, 4. So you put a 4 here and you bring everything down. You want to drop it. Okay, you drop everything down. Now, if you want to get all your credit for your problem, when I teach, my students have to show step by step. I don't want to see any missing steps because when they make a mistake, sometimes it's hard for them to go back and try to figure out where they made a mistake. And I've taught for years and I taught teachers how to teach. So I understand what I'm doing. So I'm going to try to show you some little tricks. Just pay attention and follow through. All right, so you have 8 divided by 2 times the quantity of 4, or 2, not quantity, times 4. This is only 1, so you don't have to say it, times the quantity of 4. Now, what do we do next? We still have parentheses, but it only has one number inside. So, that parentheses is just there as a form of multiplication. Remember, I said when you have a number in front of the parentheses or attached to it or behind the parentheses attached, that's multiplication. So there's multiplication going on right here. That's 2 times 4. Now, we're going to read from left to right. So if I'm going from left to right, I hit 8 divided by 2 first. So what's 8 divided by 2? 8 divided by 2 is 4. And then I bring down my parenthesis 4. Now, if you don't want to bring the parentheses, you can put a red dot, you can put an X, however you want to do it, but it's 4 times 4. And so this answer is 16. Okay. Now, some people would have done this. Oh, okay. I know I do parentheses first, so everyone gets that right. Oh, that's 4. Now I see the 2 next to the 4. I know that's multiplication. So guess what? That's 8. And guess what? They bring the 8 down, and then they bring the division sign down, and then you get 8 divided by 8, which is 1. Oh, so the answer is 1. No, but the answer is not 1. The answer is 16. And what did they do wrong? Instead of going from left to right and doing the 8 divided by 2 first, which would have gave them 4, they did the 2 right here times the 4, which gave them 8. And that's the main mistake where the confusion happened, the incorrect answers, and when things go wrong. Okay, so that's one thing. So let me go ahead to the other 2 problems really quick. I believe it's 2. So let's go down here. All right, let me pull this up, go down here real quick. Okay, so let's look at this other problem. Okay, so this is 6 divided by 2. Number 2 is 6 divided by 2 times the quantity of 1 plus 2. Okay, so we're going to follow order of operation again. I'm right here. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay, but everyone comes first from left to right here. Everyone comes first from left to right there. Remember that. And you can always write it down before you start your work, and everything else is really important. Okay, so we check for parentheses. So we do have parentheses. So 1 plus 2 is 3. Bring everything down. What they might say, drop it down, drag it down, bring it down. All right, now you say, okay, I don't see any exponents. Now I see multiplication and division. So how can I determine what do I do first? Normally, I would just multiply. But now that I learned that multiplication and division are on the same level, they're equivalent, to each other. So let me see, let me read like I will read in English from left to right to determine which one comes first. Whatever one I touch first is the one that goes first. And that's how I do it. Woo-doo. So I'm going from left to right. So when I go from left to right, I see division. I see 6 divided by 2, which is what? Right, 3. And then I drop down the times 3. Remember, when the number's in parentheses and it's attached to a number, another number is multiplication. So I say, okay, 3 times 3 is what? 9. Yes, I got it right. Now, the incorrect way, or I'm going to say the wrong way, the misunderstood way, okay, 6 divided by 2 times the quantity 1 plus 2. Now, a lot of times in elementary school, the steps are really basic. So every time you do order of operation, it's going to come out right with the multiplication, then division, because there's a few amount of operations and they pretty much make the problems easy for you. But as you start getting to like pre-algebra, they start doing a lot of wonderful tricks. And so you really have to know the concept within the concept. Okay, not just the surface level, what you see in order PEMDAS. No, you have to know that multiplication and division are equivalent. They're on the same level. So you have to really judge it based on whichever one comes first from left to right. So the more you move up in math, the more things get more complicated and the more you're able to learn at math and at a deeper level. No, you'll be learning some wonderful things, imaginary numbers and all those wonderful things. Okay, now, so average person would say 6 divided by 2 times the quantity of 1 plus 2. Okay, I know to do parentheses. Everyone gets to check for that. Yes. Now they see this 2 and say, oh, okay, so 2 times 3 is what? 6. They have that, and then they go ahead and drop this 6. So 6 divided by 6 equals 1. I got the answer. No, you didn't get the answer because you did multiplication before division. And we all know that we use our finger and go across whatever one we hit first from left to right. That's the operation that we do when it comes to multiplication and division, or when it comes to addition and subtraction on the other level. Okay. Very good. All right, so I'm going to move this one down. Okay, and I'm going to erase this really quick. Excuse me. Now we're going to do 2 to the 3rd power, or 2 cubed, plus 5 divided by 1 times the quantity of 2 plus 3. Now, I decided to add something extra. I normally don't see problems like this where people compete because they normally have the ones up the top, like 1 and 2. But I just wanted to have a little math fun. I wanted to make it, first I was going to make it real big and extravagant, but I was like, that's not needed. Let me just do something quick like I said I would do. So I had to calm down because when it comes to math, I go all out. I'm like, yes. But no, I'm going to just focus on this, teach the basics. And, you know, maybe later on we're going to like a problem that takes up the whole page and put fractions and decimals and square roots and all those wonderful things. But for right now, let's stick to this. Okay, so number 3, 2 cubed plus 5 divided by 1 times the quantity of 2 plus 3. So we have our, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, multiplication, division, what comes first from left to right, addition, subtraction, what comes first from left to right. Okay, so parentheses, we have parentheses. So in the parentheses, we have 2 plus 3, which is 5. You bring down everything else. Now, if you have a teacher that want to see all the steps, you do one operation, one step at a time, and bring down all the rest of the steps. Now you look at this again. Okay, so right here, I see multiplication. Right here, I see division. Right here, I see exponents. So what should I do next? What should I do next? Okay, so at the parentheses, you have exponents right here. So my 3 is looking a little crazy. So let me see if I can do that a little bit better. 2 cubed, or 2 to the 3rd power. So we have 2 to the 3rd power, which is our exponent. So I'm going to do that first. So 2 to the 3rd power is not 2 times 3, which most people think. That means you write 2 3 times. Whatever the small number is, the exponent, the power, that's the amount of times you write the digit that's in front. This is called the base number, if you want to, get into that. So it's 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 2 is 8. Okay. Now the average person says 6. They say 2 times 2 times 2. They say 6. So they're adding, they're not multiplying. I've seen that like thousands of times. So you take your time. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So the answer is 8. Okay. I'm going over common mistakes that people made because I've seen them over and over again. So you have 8 plus 5 divided by, sorry, let me write a little bit slow, divided by 1 times 5. Now I have division and I have multiplication and I have addition. Okay, so you know addition is last, so we don't have to worry about that. So I am going to do division because division comes first. See this right here? 5 divided by 1. All right, so I have 5 divided by 1. So I'm going to bring down my 8 plus 5 divided by 1, which is 5 times 5. Now, what do I do? Do I do addition or do I do multiplication? And so I know that you're supposed to do multiplication. So I'm going to come and put this over here. Sorry, to give more space. Let me put it over here. So this is 8 plus 5 times 5. Okay, so 5 times 5 is 25. I bring down my 8. Everyone has that? Now 25 plus 8 is 33. Okay. Now, with this type of problem, a lot of people can get the answers so many different ways. That's why people got together in the beginning, came up with a set of rules to do math, because with one math problem, you can get so many answers. But if you follow the appropriate step, there's going to be one answer for the order of operation. Now, sometimes you do math problems as you go ahead, you know, you have different things that can be the answers when you have squares and things like that. But what we're doing now, order of operation, we have one answer. And if you follow the steps correctly, you should be able to get that one answer. Okay, so the answer is 33. Now in this problem right here, I can see someone multiplying this 1 times this 5. Okay, they still would have got 5. Okay, but the 2 to the third power, I can see them getting 6. So I can see that going wrong. All right, so let's do the last one. Last one, number 4. All right, so you have 9 minus 3 divided by 1/3 plus 1. Okay, so I threw a fraction in. Fractions are fun. Fractions are fun. Fun fractions. All right, so let's get back. Now, order of operation, we're going to go through these steps again right here. So let's see. Do I have parentheses? No, I don't. No parentheses. Do I have exponents? No, no exponents. Do I have multiplication or division? Yes, I have a couple of things going on in this problem. Now, let's look at it. This is division right here, and this can be a form of division also. But what we're going to do, we're just going to look at the first division and see if we can simplify it somehow. So we look at that, we get 3 divided by 1/3, which is interesting. So we put 3 divided by 1/3. Now, when you have a fraction, you really want to make the other number in the equivalent form. So let's put 3 over 1. Okay, let's put it 3 over 1. So 3 over, so you can have a numerator and a denominator for both numbers. Okay, so 3 over 1 divided by 1/3. Now, when you're dividing fractions, the first thing you do is you bring down the first number, which is 3. You can keep it over 1. The division sign changed to multiplication, and then you flip the second number, okay? Now you call it the invert, you call it the reciprocal, or you just say flip. So you flip it is 3 over 1. And then you just multiply straight across, numerator times numerator, which is 9. 3 times 3 is 9, and 1 times 1, which is 1. So that's really 9, okay? So 3 divided by 1/3 is 9, okay? So you keep taking 3 and you keep separating into a thirds like this. Let's say you have 3 whole, I'll show you this real quick, even though this is really breaking it down crazy. Let's say you have this, right? And you break it down to 1/3. You divide it into thirds. Okay, so this is how it looked visually. So you need to see it. I know my boxes are not equivalent. So we go to count it. You have 3 wholes and you divide it by 1/3. So this divided by 1/3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 3 divided into thirds is 9 because the first 1 and the 3 is divided into thirds is going to be 3, and you have 3 of those, so 3 divided by 1/3 is 9. So this is just a visual so you can see it if that's needed. I know I do extra, but I like to break things all the way down. So let's write this down. So we have 9 minus, now we know this is 9 plus 1. So 9 minus 9 is what? 0, and plus 1 is plus 1. Now right here, we're going from left to right. If you go from left to right, you have subtraction before addition. This is the time we throw that in. So normally PEMDAS is, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, and people think it's addition, then they think it's subtraction. However, addition and subtraction are equivalent. They're equal. They're on the same level. They have the same strength. So whatever one comes first from left to right, that's the one you do first. So 9 minus 9 is 0. This is subtraction. Subtraction came first. And then addition came second. So when we took our finger and went from left to right, we have 0 plus 1, which is 1. Okay, so that's good. Now, that's it. So that's how you break down order of operation. I wanted to go through it and do a video. My son and myself, we have done division videos and multiplication videos, and I've done like the slope videos, and maybe one day I'll do a factoring and quadratic and trigonometry, and and it just goes on and on and on. But for right now, it's order of operation. Hopefully you enjoyed it, because I did. I haven't done a math video in a while, and yeah, I haven't done a math video in a while. Like I said, I have a tutoring business. I have a lot of tutors, and they do most of the tutoring. I tutor adults in math for tests, things like that, T's, praxis, math praxis, anything math related that's adult related. That's what I normally do. Unless there's a special request to tutor someone's child, which have been in the past, I will. I love math for passion. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Have a great day. Stop share. Stop video.